The Wednesday week is sponsored by the Riverside Cafe, the perfect place for a pre-match pint.
There's a chance here, a great save. Turner from McClare. Mike Fanning. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday Week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and we're back, ladies and gents. You're welcome. With me on the line, first of all, we've got Mr. Marriott, Jamesy. Bean, how the chuff are you?
Do you know what? I'm all right. I was going to make a resolution to only drink tea during the podcast this season, but I've resorted to vodka because it's not been the most successful of nights so far, which no one listening will understand what we mean. But if we all sound a bit grumpy, it's because this is about the fourth time that we've done this.
Yeah, we've had a few issues, haven't we, Jay or Bean? Victoria, my darling, how the devil are you?
I'm about 47 right now, my lord. I've been sat here for the last hour waiting to record this chuffing podcast, but it's okay. We're back. We're fresh. We've bought that fancy new podcast recording system and we're on Skype.
Yes, but you think there's people waiting outside to watch this right now? There's a queue outside Hillsborough Towers to watch this recording, Victoria. So you think yourself lucky? They've been waiting at least 4 hours.
I'm not doing my usual Skype call, my lord.
We don't know what your usual Skype code is. My word. Dickie Owl, how the devil are you up in?
I'm fantastic, my friend. I was going to talk about Elvis juice, but I've moved on to something completely different now since we started the whole podcast. So I'm drinking Elvis juice, and I've moved on to Kingfisher beer now. So you know, I'm having a few beers while lounging around in the comforts of Norfolk. So yeah, I'm getting a bit middle class like Eddie for a change.
To be honest, we've been trying to get this running so long, I think everybody must be plastered by now by the amount of ale they've drunk. Yeah. But one good thing that has come out of the wait is that we have now had Mr. Fudgy join us. How the devil are you all been?
Yeah, how's it going? You all right? You all right? Yeah. I don't know what that was. I had a really funny intro planned. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Just being a bit swaggery. Yeah. How's it going, everybody? You all right? Now, how was your last hour? With Dees, yeah?
Yeah, waiting for you to log in, yeah.
We're just waiting for you, Fudge. That's all we're waiting for. Right then, ladies and gents, so let's crack on with some Sheffield Wednesday talk, shall we? Because it's been a rather a slow summer from one point of view, but I don't think it's a terribly bad thing, is it?
Can anyone guess what I'm going to say here? Edit that bit out.
This is all new to me.
Tell us. All right. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it from. Yeah, it has been a quiet summer. If I think back to right at the end of the season when Fudge, me and you, we recorded that podcast. It was supposed to be an hour of us like arguing, and actually we just kind of agreed about everything, and it was actually rubbish, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think what came out of that,
it was all right. This is not the point. All right. But what I was going to say is that I said during that I'm ready for a quiet summer. I'm ready for a bit of time away from football, and I've actually enjoyed the fact that it's been a bit quiet, that there's not been that much going on. There's not been that much to try and keep up with. And just after how just intense the last couple of seasons have been, and particularly the end of last season it was a real roller coaster. And I think emotionally it got quite a few of us. To have a summer where I've just been able to switch off from football it's been quite nice.
It was nice to have your weekends back. Just, you know, no kids football on a Sunday, and if Wednesday went home, there was no Hallam for me, and it was just nice just to on a Saturday to go out and just get pissed and not have any football around it to be upset about.
I work weekends, so I work a lot of weekends. So for me, it's just business as usual. And I think I found myself, you know, when you're on Sky Bet, and you're thinking about putting an accumulator on, and when you're betting on Egyptian League 16 versus, you know, Swedish League 8, you're thinking, Christ, I'm going to have to go to a rehab about this. It becomes an addiction after a while. But it has been a very quiet summer, and I think what we've spoke before about I think it was you, James, mentioned it in one of the podcasts I wasn't on, but I think we brought it up with each other on that last one where we spoke about Carlos getting another roll of the dice, and it showed what type of chairman Chansiri was, which I agree with you was a positive thing. But when it comes to recruitment, I'm assuming you guys have probably discussed this in the last hour while you've been trying to record. How was the recruitment last season for you guys? Did you believe that the signings we made were okay? They were right. They were good for the club, or did you think we just fell shy of the mark?
The signings were great, but they just didn't jump in play, did they? Because we're all bloody injured, which is why I think that we didn't do or haven't done, should I say, so far, a huge amount of business, which I don't think is a bad thing. I really don't. We always speak about teams gelling and cohesing and all that kind of thing, but we haven't really had time to do that. I mean, we've got Abdi to shine yet, haven't we? We haven't seen the best of him, and the Watford fans can't say enough about him. We've got Matias coming back as well, and he's been looking pretty nifty pre-season as well, which has been nice. And these are essentially new signings, aren't they?
We've been saying that about Matthias for 2 years, though, haven't we? This is the third season in a row that we've been like, he's going to be great, he's going to be great, and he's done nothing. He scored one good goal against Leeds. Other than that, he's not really done anything. He had a great pre-season last season, and then he just did nothing. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I can't get excited about Matthias. There's two ways of looking at this, isn't there? Because I saw some stat that is that we've got the highest squad retention percentage in the Championship, which means that of all the minutes played by players for Sheffield Wednesday last season, 98 point something of them are players that are still at the club, and I suspect that the others are just basically Sasso and Semedo. You can look at it as a positive thing and say, well, we've kept the nucleus of our team together, and there's the example of Brighton from last season who stuck with that squad and it came good for them. The other way of looking upon it is that this squad has twice not been good enough to get promoted to the Premier League, so what necessarily is going to make it different third time around? So there's two ways of looking upon it. I'm being positive about it myself. I think it probably is the right thing for us to stick together, particularly seeing as I think the moment that we decided that Carlos was still going to be our man for year 3 of the project, then sticking with the players that he's worked with the last 2 years makes sense. I think if we were going to change the manager, then it might have been time to start looking at the squad and whether we make any changes. But if he still feels that he can achieve his aim, which is promotion with the players that he's got, then it's good enough for me.
I need to speak about this, about the players' injuries for a brief period. There are certain exercises and there are certain things that professional footballers do when they're training, when they're weightlifting, when they're in the gym, when they're running, that can make players worse and make them more injury prone. There was a book on it that I read over the summer that was by a friend of mine actually, but he's told me not to plug it just yet, which is a weird thing. But what he did, he spent some time with Arsenal. And the feedback he gave to Arsenal was that what you're doing with your players is making them worse. And if you keep doing that, they're going to hurt this part of their body. And I think Arsenal's injury woes are quite well documented. So there's a fair bit of credence in it. So sometimes the fitness of the players can be down to the physiotherapy. And since I think Alan Smith's left now, hasn't he? He's not there. And
he retired about 20 years ago, man.
He still goes to the matches. He still pops in.
Yeah, he still goes, doesn't he? He's still in all the pictures. Yeah. But he's not been there. And hilariously, last season, my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was the assistant physiotherapist, and Chansiri's bin them all off, hasn't he? He's got rid of all the physio team. So I think there might be something there in that. So players like Abdi, with a new physio around him, we might look forward to seeing a player like a new signing. But when it comes to signings, for me, I think where I might differ, but I also, some of you might agree. When I look at players like Fletcher, Boyd, Forestieri, Rhodes, these are all those players that have played in the Premier League. These are all players that have done it at top level, and rightly so, they are in the pool in which we should be fishing. They are that level, that calibre player that we should be looking at. And I keep saying it. Steve Beastie said that when we first signed McGugan, he is the bare minimum, didn't he? He said that, and he was right. He was right at that point. Any other player needs to be a higher calibre than Lewis McGugan when we signed him at that time. because there was a period when he was our best player. But I think when it comes to the announced centre back tweets that you see, and the what's going on with bloody recruitment? How come you've looked at 200 players and not signed any bugger? Yada yada yada. I think we're looking for our Aaron Moy, Tammy Abraham, who was the other guy for Huddersfield that they had on loan from Chelsea? Nathan Aki. I think we're waiting on those. You know what I mean? We don't seem to have gone for any of those players.
George Boyd.
There's no point just dragging somebody in that's not good enough, not better than what we've already got. There's absolutely no point doing that, because it just adds to the wage bill, and then you're not bettering yourself. So you need to, and if we only sign one player, because we can't get any better than that this club season, I'm all good with that. I'm fine with that.
No, I think what I mean is, let's get somebody in who might be a little bit untried and untested, but what if he in? You know what I mean? We look with absolute green eyes at players like Moy and Aki and Abraham, doing what they did for their clubs. You know what I mean? 2 of them got promoted and the other one finished nigh on top scorer of the bloody league in a team that nearly went down. Now, we don't seem to have even knocked on the door of Chelsea with 68 players out on loan, or Manchester City with their 50-odd. Why don't we? Why don't we marry the experience of players like Boyd and Wallace and the calibre that we have with some youth and exuberance? And we don't seem to be doing that. We just seem to be signing also runs.
I think the thing is, if we did that, you'd get the other half of the crowd going, "Oh, all we do is sign bloody loan players. They're not bloody our players." Blah, 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 blah. You'd just get the opposite argument.
But
you would.
To get Lord H a little excited, do we have a player like that already in the midst?
Dun, dun, dun.
No, we don't. George Hurst
needs
to go out on loan for a season. Go to Bristol City. Go to Bristol Bloody Rovers. Go to Bolton Wanderers, because I think we identified them as our dumping ground, didn't we, on one of the shows last season? He is a lone move away from breaking into our first team. He excites me. The amount of goals he's scoring and the ease in which he does it, but he needs to be playing some professional football against some big old shit kickers. And at the minute, he's playing against kids.
You just can't ignore what he's done last season, what he's continued to start to do this season now already, with hat-tricks and all this kind of stuff. You can't ignore it for... How long can you ignore it for? Whether that be out on loan or, I'm just being devil's advocate with a little bit, because I don't think he's probably ready either, but...
But what?
But that was the end of the conversation. But,
that's right. I do often finish sentences with "but."
I've heard different Lord H.
Isn't talking about George Hurst just a bit of a waste of time at this stage? I don't think he's got a role to play this season, and we've got so many things to talk about, and we find ourselves talking about something that's just irrelevant, isn't it?
At the moment, yes, because we do need to sort of get kicked off for this season. And I think the main thing this season as well is starting well, because one of the massive problems we've had is for the last 2 seasons is we've just started incredibly poorly, haven't we? And if we can kick on at the start of the season, we're not going to have this worry about creeping into playoffs or anything at all. We really should be rocking for top 2. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's so hard to second guess. I came up with this theory at the week. I didn't go to the Rangers game, but I came up with a theory at the weekend, which is that when we have a good pre-season, we always have a really rubbish start to the proper season. So maybe losing to Rangers was a good thing. But then one of my friends pointed out that when we have a good pre-season, we also have a rubbish start to the season. So that doesn't really apply. Yeah, it is necessary. It has the last couple of years. It's really cost us, I think, the slow start, and I think both times we've kind of pointed to reasons for it. First season, year 1 of the the Carlos era, it was obvious, wasn't it, that it was still all kind of coming together, and he was still figuring out which players to use and all that kind of stuff. Year 2, the tactics weren't working in the way they were the year before, and he had to change things and kind of get a bit of a grip on the fact that teams had found us out. We can't afford that this year, and this is actually, to be fair, exactly what Fudge and I both said when we did our kind of end of season thing, which is that this kind of year 3 plan C, the third way, which kind of merges those 2 seasons which were good in their own right, but neither of them ultimately successful in terms of getting promoted to the Premier League. Merge the styles together, find that third way of playing where we can win games and not give away silly goals and teams can't pick us off, but where we can also attack teams and we can score goals and we can win games. And that's got to be from the very start of the season, because I think the problem after the last couple of seasons is if we have a slow start, then we're going to have a pretty grumpy fan base, because we've been here for 2 years in a row. I mean, yeah, we already have. You know, my point, as I've said to a couple of friends this week, because at the moment the Sheffield Wednesday fan base, you know, as a whole, generally speaking, is in meltdown. It's, you know, whinging about everything. And I said to my mate, yeah, all right, fine. And even he was having a bit of a moan about why the shirt's not sorted, why is this not being sorted, why have we not done this? I said, I tell you what, if we win the first 5 games of the season, no one gives a stuff about the shirt, no one gives a stuff about how many players we've signed during the summer. It's all forgotten. And all everyone talks about is how we're going to walk the league. The flip side of that is if we lose the first few games of the season, it's a very different story. And yeah, I mean, getting the start right is super, super, super important this time. And as we've shown for the last couple of seasons, if we don't get that good start, it's really difficult to catch up. It really is hard to catch up. And if we're genuinely talking about top 2 being the aim this season, which, you know, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be the aim. To come out of those first 5-6 games and maybe only have 1 or 2 wins like we have done for the last couple of years, that's going to be really, really hard for us to turn around then.
And I don't think Carlos, in my opinion, would survive a bad start either.
No, I don't. I agree with that. I don't think he would.
No, agreed.
No, is there an element of arrogance from Carlos in relation to his tactics? I mean, we know we've spoke before about his book, and we've spoke before about, you know, how revered he is in the game. Is there an element of Yorkshire bloody-mindedness? Have we rubbed off on him that much that he's gone, no, these are the tactics, this is what's happening, go out and get it done, even though when they're clearly not working?
I think it's fair to say that Vic's rubbed off on Carlos a few times.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest. Sorry, I'm trying to get some jokes. It's been bloody miserable so far. But no, I think it's Carlos. He's got his way of doing things, and that's why Mr. C brought him in. Isn't it? And we can't say that he's a bad football coach, because again, he came in that first season. We've got playoffs both seasons. I know it's disappointing, and I'm not going to go through the whole arguments of, well, we're better than where we used to be and all that kind of nonsense that we've been through before. But he has come in. Yes, he's had some money to spend. Yes, I can't get past the fact that this injury problem from last season, to me, is the thing that ruined the season last year. It was the injuries. The nonsense that caused was unbelievable, because we were stringing bits and bobs together. And that's not Carlos's fault, whether we like it or not.
Is it not Carlos's fault, though? I mean, you know, this is...
He's got people to make these players to do the training, and if, like you say,
no, I get that. He did have people, but you know, but he sacked them all. One of them being my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. So, you know, lol. But you know, there is an argument there for he's got this massive, great squad. Why? I mean, is it in buying and selling players? You know, we've discussed this before, but if we've spent the money that we have, and if we've got the size of squad that we have, the injuries shouldn't affect him as much as what they did.
You can't not have players like Forestieri, though, for a few months and then wonder what happened.
But we were discussing, 3 months ago, Forestieri is probably one of the ones that's one of our biggest assets to sell and get money for. You know what I mean? In order to accommodate the strikers we've got.
But that's the thing. We can't have it. If we're going to talk about a squad team, a big squad, then we don't, like you said, we want a players of a certain level in that big squad. And I think this season, what one of the problems is going to be is keeping all these players happy, because we have got some very, very big names now at Wednesday, and all these fragile egos that footballers have these days have to be mollycoddled and all that kind of nonsense. And someone's going to have to get tough with him and say, look, if you're not doing your job, then you fight for your place. It's that simple. Last year, people didn't really have to fight for the place because we're just being shoved into places because they had nowhere else to go, quite simply. We didn't have anybody else in that job, whatever it might be.
I'm not sure I necessarily buy that in terms of the fact that any club could say that they can have that problem from time to time, whereby there's not enough competition between players. These are professional footballers that have been paid a lot of money, and their coaches also paid a lot of money and should be able to motivate them to get the best of them, regardless of whether or not they think, it doesn't really matter if I play well or not, I'll keep my place. Well, then there's something going wrong behind the scenes if that genuinely happens, because that just shouldn't happen.
I agree, it shouldn't. But footballers are pampered little so-and-sos these days, aren't they? To them, it's not about the money. Yes, I'm sure that they want to do well, but we've seen what happens. We had the Forestieri situation last season. Yes, it got dealt with, but it's just what happens. As much as it pains me to say, these players do not love Sheffield Wednesday Football Club like we love Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. And obviously you can see it in some players a little bit more than others, etc., etc. But to them, it is a job. And let's face it, we all have days at work where we go to work and think, I'm just going to toss it off a bit today. But if you knew that was somebody who was waiting to take your job, if that happened, it might give you a bit of a kick up the bum.
You just need to be better motivated, and the other side of that is that if you think I'll just turn up and not do anything, then you can be Lewis McGugan. Which is fine. You still get your money and you can run your contract down. But who's going to offer Lewis McGugan a contract in 12 months when his contract here runs out? Who's going to look at him and think, he did really well at Sheffield Wednesday, let's give him a go? If he wants another football club, he's down in League 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just about to say, we usually send people off to Bolton, don't we? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, send them to Bolton.
But no, I understand the logic, and certainly, but I do think that a lot of last season boiled down to injury problems. I really, really do. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if that has been sorted, then we'll have a cracking start, a lovely season, and we can all put a big fat smile on our faces again. It'll be marvellous.
Here's a question. Where would you find all of the following in one place? Chairs, tables, beer, Vic, James, more beer, Dickie Owl, Eddie, more beer, and the rest of the Wednesday Week gang. That's right, it's the Riverside Cafe's new outside bar. All of your favourite lagers, ciders, soft drinks and hand pump ales are now available outside. Come and see the gang and give it a try. The Riverside Cafe's new outside bar, now open on match days.
So looking at the return list and things, are we happy we've not really got rid of anybody or anything at all like that either, have we?
We have got rid of somebody though, haven't we? And it pains me to say that man is in Portugal tonight training, and as much as all right, it's probably not good enough. We've all got to admit we were a little bit sad at Semi going, weren't we?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Herbie Emanuelson then. Sorry.
I thought you were talking about Eddie. But no, Semedo, it's heartbreaking, and it's because he is one of those players that you can tell does genuinely love the club. But I don't know if you've been seeing the pictures about him. He's not worried about us at the minute, is he? He's having a lovely time with his buddies, or buddy, should I say?
He did tweet a nice thing today, didn't he?
I'd be having a nice time if I was an older with his buddy.
Yeah, it's hard to my heart breaks. It's Semedo. We all love him to bits, but it's hard to sort of feel sorry for him when he's doing what he's doing, isn't it?
And this is very similar to when Bullen went, isn't it? But Bullen was, played all 11 positions. Wasn't the greatest player in the world, as we know. Excuse me. And he went and went away for a few years and then came back. And right now, Semedo's still got some years in him as a player. He's not ready to go and do that. Earn a coaching.
He's not very old, is he?
Wage.
He's nowhere near as old as we think he is.
Yeah. So it's kind of. If he comes back, he comes back. But I think the time's right because he's not going to get a first team place.
To be honest, looking at the way he's filled out, I think he's going for a professional wrestler because he's a big chuffer now, isn't he? Joe for me, he's put some timber on, bless him.
Yeah, he's massive, isn't he? He's hench AF. You're gonna. I don't want to be that guy, but I usually am.
But you're going to be.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I thought Semedo Day was a great idea. I thought it was brilliant. But it wasn't Jose Semedo that came up with Semedo Day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand how he's become such a cult hero with the fans. I find it really odd.
Passion. I think it's a passion he shows.
Is that what it is?
Physically shows.
I genuinely don't understand it. Because for me, he's rooted to a spot for 90 minutes and has been for about 5 years.
I think all the players as well, you see how we got on with Nuyu and Forestieri. He's kind of their, they're the guy they look up to, that to kind of give him a bit of encouragement, etc. And I think the thing he said about I think I read it today somewhere, that when Carlos told him he dropped him for a game, he said, "That's not a problem. You've got a job to do. I'll just get on with get on with what I'm doing and go carry on training or whatever." And that's the right attitude to have, and you don't get many footballers like that these days.
No, absolutely right. And we are going to miss him. And
we've been saying earlier about prima donnas and stuff, although that could have been on one of the last 7 podcasts I've recorded tonight. But we've been saying about prima donnas and an age thing. And if he isn't, if he is only 31, 32, he's in that exact age bracket that we could call a prima donna, that we could say there's too much money in the game and blah, blah, blah. But if that's what he's done and that's what he said, then I think that also shows a bit of class about the guy.
Oh, he's just a lovely, lovely chap. And Fudge has got no heart, no soul, and clearly the Wicked Witch of the West. But apart from that, obviously, Herbie's gone, a few other bits and bobs. But again, I don't think it's anything that's going to be terribly missed, is it? So that all seems fine. And of course, we've had Mr. Boyd, who is looking spiffing at pre-season, isn't he? He looks like he's slotting in well, and he's a couple of assists. And do you think this is the kind of people that we need in the club?
I'm not a fan of his hair. I can't lie about that.
I do want to wash him. Yeah.
Is that just because he's got hair, James?
There's an element of jealousy there. I can't lie about that. Yeah. I tried to grow mine, it just falls out. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the standard of signing, he's another one of these players that's kind of been there and done it, hasn't he? He's won promotion to the Premier League. He's played in the Premier League. He played a lot of games in the Premier League last season. I think that we probably say very similar things about him that we were saying about Abdi a year ago. Although obviously a different kind of player and someone that's going to do a different sort of job. When we talked earlier about our target should be only bringing in players that add something, here is someone that really does add something, and without making much more of a dent in terms of that financial fair play kind of tightrope that we're going to be close to walking. So a really sensible addition to the team. I hope that he can stay fit and that he can really offer something, whether it's down the wing, whether it's through the middle. He's got a variety of strings to his bow, hasn't he? So I think a really, really handy addition, and he's got quite a nice car. I think
he has got a Bentley.
Loads of photos of it on Twitter. It's like everyone seems to be taking photos of his car.
His number plate is like G Boyd, and it's like, wow, you don't want anyone to spot you.
If he did it on the football pitch, I couldn't give a chuff. I really, really couldn't. But I honestly do think he's looking good. He seems to really slot into the team nicely, from what I've seen in the pre-season games as well. So fingers crossed. I mean, if that's the only signing that we end up making, and it does the job that it's supposed to do, then that's me as happy as a cheffing out of financial.
Can I just ask, guys, we're talking about financial fair play. Does the Jordan Rhodes thing affect this season now then?
Yeah.
Does the 10 million affect it?
We've spent all our budget.
Yeah.
We spent it.
So that's it,
Well, we haven't. That's not true. It doesn't work like that. So
that's why we did the deal we did.
Depends on the commercial income.
The way that it works is that the transfer fee is spread over the length of the contract. So assuming it's a 5-year contract, which they always are for big transfers these days, and it's £8 million. So it's 8 million divided by 5 is how much comes off the accounts each year.
That's before wages as well. A club's not only allowed to make a loss of £13 million per season. So if the wages of the club are large, and we know that Fessy and Fletcher are on a wedge, given the this time last year, the start of the season last year, and the calibre of play we're getting into, the wage bill is significantly higher. So, the sticking point, I think, for us probably trying to sign a new player would be the wages, the regular money coming out, because as James says, the cost is spread over X amount of time. So that's when the wages come into play. That's why you find, for example, a chairman sponsoring his own club, sponsoring the stand, because it's a great way of getting money into the club. That's what they do. So, without getting the accounts for the club and how much money everybody's on, you can't really tell. But a Jordan Rhodes and a a George Boyd and Fess's new contract and a Stephen Fletcher is all going to affect what we can sign this year.
Yeah, ultimately, of course it is. And we'll know a heck of a lot better what that situation is after the steering group meeting on Wednesday night. And there might be people listening to this now that are thinking, well, this has all been covered and talked about and stuff, because I'm sure, that there will be questions asked at that about just how close we are to that financial fair play line. It's not as cut and dry as just saying that you could make a £13 million loss per season, because it's actually averaged over it's 39 million over 3 seasons, so you can actually lose a hell of a lot in one season as long as you really tighten your belts the next season, which is why you see teams that throw a lot at it in a season to really have a go at getting promoted, which I don't think we've done.
Wolves.
I don't think that we've spent beyond our means in any way, but I think that we are just being cautious, and I think that's the right thing to do. But just how cautious we have to be, we'll find out.
So in theory, just for layman's terms, basically, and because I think a lot of people are in the same boat about financial fair play, and you seem to know a lot, James. So basically, if we went up and got that, whatever it is now, fucking like £500 million pay boost that we get for going up, does that counteract the financial fair play?
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, you don't get a huge injection of cash there and then. It is spread over a number of seasons and paid in a number of different ways. And I think that we've seen
just goes up every
teams
year,
that have gone up that can't afford to. Teams don't get promoted. They can't afford to just go out and spend 100 million like that. Because you just don't see that cash straight away. But yeah, it does mean that from a financial fair play point of view that everything's very different.
You get a hell of a wedge from the TV deal when you first go up. I mean, you don't get 200 million quid as your check. You know what I mean? It don't work like that. Yeah. I get that, but you get a hell of a lot of money when you do go up, because all of a sudden you're selling. Well, as a club perspective, you're selling more shirts, selling more tickets, you're selling more, more things. But the TV deal itself, you're
not selling any shirts right now, are you?
The Sky deal itself is something like 40 million quid per club or something ridiculous. What I have umbrage with the most is the parachute payments, the reward for failure. It really dissolves the level playing field completely.
But
I don't understand that.
Don't we have an issue with those because we were the last club that didn't get them? Isn't that the issue with them?
No, we were the first club not to get them.
Yeah, the last club to.
The last club that didn't get them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They've changed now. Something like Middlesbrough, who went up and came straight back down. I think they only get them for 2 years now. Is that right, James?
Something like that. Yeah, and I think it's a lower amount that they might get, or something.
Only 2 years. But if you look at a club like Sunderland, there were absolute rumours around Sunderland saying that they got relegated on purpose in order to get this money coming into the club to stabilise and go back up. That apparently it is something that is now on the cards for some clubs in order to get that cash injection of those parachute payments over that couple of years.
The rewards for staying in the Premier League are bigger than the rewards for getting relegated.
No, but if you think about it, let's say you get your players on a lot of contracts, a relegation release clause or a trigger clause if you do get relegated, yada yada yada. So, what's his name? Januzaj, the guy from Man U. He's already gone. He's gone straight away, hasn't he? You know what I mean? So what that will do is offload a load of players. It will offset a lot of money from your wage bill, and you've still got money coming in from the parachute payments. So somebody has to stop and do the maths and go, crap. We put all our money, what's that phrase of Love Island? We put all our eggs in one basket. We didn't get Europe. Crap.
It wasn't our type on paper.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah,
maybe so, but you look at teams like. Give an example, Fulham maybe, who came down a few years ago, and they've really struggled to get anywhere near getting back to the Premier League up until last season. I just can't imagine that a club would deliberately get relegated assuming that they're going to go back up in a year or two, because it just doesn't work that way. And I think that we look at someone like Hull now, who they came down a couple of years ago, they went straight back up. coming down this time, very different. There's not many people talking about Hull going straight back up to the Premier League, and they've got to really tighten their belts financially. Probably got a lot to do with their owners. Can I ask why we're talking about this though on a Sheffield Wednesday podcast? Because we've got a whole summer of stuff to talk about.
Because there's nothing.
We've got into a conversation about parachute payments that don't affect us because we've got to get promoted before we get relegated. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
Sushi.
Absolutely. Right, so the next thing that is on the running list, yes, ladies and gents, we do actually have a running list, is the pre-season friendlies. So, I mean, as a general rule, they've looked quite positive, haven't they? Well, I think so. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't just wasted your Sunday afternoon like me and Dickie Owl have. Good. Yeah.
Well, more the fool you.
No, Rangers wasn't great. I've been to Mansfield and Doncaster, and it's just pre-season. You don't expect anything out of pre-season, do you? Surely
it's a warm up for us as fans as much as anything else. It's getting back into going to the game, drinking beer, queuing at half time. I only went to Doncaster this season.
Started on queuing at half time. Oh my God, Rich, my face at half time.
Yeah, she had a face of thunder. Yeah.
Can I have a packet of crisps? No, we've run out of crisps. Right. Can I have a cup of tea? No, we've got no hot water. Okay.
It's pre-season, isn't it?
Can I have a packet of chewing things? No, you can't have them. Right, can I have a hot dog? No. I was like, and I ended up with the flakiest pie you have ever seen. It was horrible.
But you were there at the end of the end of the half time.
I queued up from 43 minutes.
Oh dear, more for you.
Yeah, but the catering staff have to have their pre-season as well, Victoria. You can't expect these things to click straight away. You're such a prima donna.
Yeah, the catering staff are still cohesing. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they've been cohesing
still gelling.
for 20 years. Bloody hell. But I think I'm all in agreement with Rich on the whole pre-season is pre-season, that it doesn't matter, but we played a pretty much full-strength squad on Sunday. We did. And one or two of them looked absolutely awful. And do you know what? You could have swapped me for Dave Jones at half-time and nobody would have known. You could have put Dan Fudge in there and no one would have known. It was awful.
Didn't know.
But it's 6 days away from the start of the season. That's my point.
And it's what they did. But it's what they do on Saturday, not what they didn't do on Sunday.
Well,
that's all that matters.
There's a certain £4 million player out there that honestly weren't fit to lace my shoes. Was not fit to bloody shoes. And I don't have laces in my shoes because I can't do up laces.
There was a bloke behind me mumping all through the game and then shouted at the end at one of Wednesday players, "Stop being so bloody negative!" And we turned around and looked at him and thought,
it weren't Fudge, right?
No, it was much shorter than Fudge, and he was ginger too, so...
Well, there you go.
a ginger Fudge, what an awful thought.
That sounds like a special edition that they'll bring out for winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A finger of Fudge.
Keeps your cockles warm during the cold snap.
Yeah,
ginger
just
Fudge.
imagine Stephen Fry sat in front of a flaming fire. Ooh, look at this, bloody lovely this. You know what I mean? Apparently he talks like that now, Stephen Fry. Don't know if you got the email.
So again, pre-season, it is pre-season. There were some lovely bits that came out. The goal against Doncaster was smashing the ball through from Bannon, the flick over the keeper, etc., etc. It's nice to see those sorts of things, but it's pre-season.
There's certain players that have stood out. I thought Reece has done well in pre-season, even though Vic's going to say different. Matthias looked good at Doncaster. There was some decent performances in there. Nothing, Forestieri at Mansfield in the second half. There was stuff.
Yeah, but
positive to pull out.
I've got to say this though. They may as well have played my bloody Sunday League team. You know what I mean? Like, they may as well have played those lads that were in that Reds versus Blues game. I've not heard any of these.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
Do you know what I mean? I've not heard, with the bloody Ella Mansfield, I couldn't name you one player. In fact, Doncaster are an absolute piss-poor bloody pub team. And then all this did was remind me of, they're great, everybody's cohesive, everybody's getting together, all having a good time. And all it reminded me of is when Lee Strafford took everybody to Malta for a pre-season friendly do. We had about 5 games out there. Michael Jackson died and we got relegated at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Fuck's sake. It just reminds me of that.
Michael Jackson's not going to die again, don't you?
Eh? What it was, I got my girlfriend at the time, got right into watching the Wednesday, and I said, babe, we can't go to that pre-season tour. It looks great, and all these photos emerged of all the Beavers and Tommy Spur having a barbecue with everybody on the beach and all this. It looked like a bloody stag do, to be fair. But I said we can't go. I've just spent $3,000 on a ticket to go and watch Michael Jackson on his first gig in the UK for quite how many years. And then by the end of that season, relegated. No Michael Jackson, no Toto Malta, no bloody Championship football anymore.
Was that your Annus Horribilis?
It was.
I do have one positive from the Rangers game, my lord, and I don't know if Rich will agree here, but I thought that yes, it was all very, very flat until a certain little man came on the pitch, and he did light up the whole pitch. We came alive again with Forestieri on there. I really think we did. But that, again, worries me, as I said numerous times last season. Are we a one-man sort of... Have we got that matriarch in the team? Although he's 5'2". But have we got a matriarch in the team who everyone plays around? And suddenly the game picks up when he comes on. And he looked brilliant. Like, he was running all over the place. He was throwing himself on the floor if someone sneezed near him. Like, he was doing everything. But he did stand out. He really did stand out. But that, again... On the other hand, the devil on my shoulder says that really worries me in the fact that nothing looked anywhere near half finished before he came on. And also, Jack Hunt has the nerves of steel because the amount of bangers that were allegedly thrown onto the pitch behind him and went off, he didn't even flinch. He didn't even flinch. He just looked over his shoulder and casually walked on like he was in the middle of the front line. It was unbelievable.
To be fair, he looks the type that's thrown a banger to himself, doesn't he?
He has just witnessed another childbirth, hasn't he? So
yes.
Nothing can prepare you for that.
He's probably sick of bangers at the moment. But no, it is what it is. It's pre-season. We can't read too much into it. Yes, it was nice. It was lovely. We've had a bit of fun. The Rangers game could have been better. Of course, it could have been. But it's just pre-season. It's not worth worrying about too much there, Vicky. But that's my personal opinion anyway.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, a wedding or anniversary, maybe you've passed your driving test, or you've landed a new job. Well, whatever your reason for a party, the Riverside Cafe is the perfect location on Catch Bar Lane overlooking Hillsborough Stadium. To inquire about hiring us for your function, call 07989 856 054 or 0114 232 6121.
We do need to look forward to the actual season, and of course that starts on Saturday against Preston North End, who... obviously are a team that they've got a few Wednesday players there, Steve May's there, etc., but they have just got a chap, an Irish striker, haven't they, that's been firing great guns from. What's his name? Is it another Maguire? I think it is. They sort of picked him out of the Irish League and he's been just ramming him in, which is a little bit worrying.
Hang on, we've just said that pre-season doesn't matter, so the fact that he's scored a few goals in pre-season and a few goals in Ireland, and I have a lot of respect for Irish football, which is probably more than the Irish do. But any of us could jump on a plane and go and score a couple of goals in the Irish League.
You're only saying that because Chris Holt will be listening, James.
Yeah, James and Chris Holt sitting in a tree. KISSING.
That's James's pre-season.
Thanks for your intellectual input there.
James spent a lot of pre-season trying to get a column at the Star. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't be allowed to do a column at the Star.
Just a column. I don't know about the Star.
No, I'm really looking forward to this game, and I do think this should give us a much better idea what the chuff's going to happen this season. Yes, the chap that they've just signed, he does remind me a bit of a Stevie May, if you like. He's obviously done really well in his league. Will be able to go to Championship level. We'll soon find out. But are we going to find out at our detriment? Because we are still waiting for this centre-back to come in. Apparently, what is it, 200 that we've looked at so far this season? And we are still missing that centre-back, or probably two, aren't we? Do you think we're going to have everybody before Preston?
Carlos has already said that it's only one that we're looking at now, isn't it? That he considers Hutch and Poodle to be our cover at centre-back. So we're only looking to bring in one now. It does feel a little bit like a year ago I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. If that's what he or they think is best. I'm not sure exactly whose call it is about it, and whether it's just that the players aren't available. I don't know. There's been a bit of rumour knocking around that Bristol City are looking to sell Aidan Flint now. I just wonder whether or not he's going to be out of our price range with the conversation that we had earlier. So I don't know. We need a centre. We definitely need a centre half. We can't afford to do what we did last season, where it really worked to our detriment. Really, we do need two. But it's difficult to see that happening now. That said, there's nearly a month left of the transfer window, so there's plenty of stuff that can happen between now and then. But in terms of Saturday and in terms of the game against Preston, it does look like it's going to be a Lees and Louvens, and that we just hope that nothing goes wrong.
Well, we've got a different physio team now because my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
You're not bitter about it yourself, are you?
It was really annoying. We were sat there watching the bloody Huddersfield playoff final, and she went, "Hang on a minute." She made me rewind it. Then she checked on her bloody Facebook, found out she's still friends with him. You know what I mean? And I'm going, wait. And I wasn't angry at that. I remember going, what? So he could have got us tickets to something. You know what I mean? I'm sat here like a pleb. You know what I mean?
Is your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend? Oh no,
girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
Girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
Is he Portuguese?
No, he's from Portsmouth apparently. So he's what's called down here a scummer. So yeah. Anyway, I can't remember my point, but I was very upset about it.
You just wanted some free tickets, buddy. You just wanted some free tickets. It's not much to ask. And of course, after after the Preston game, we've got the visit of Chesterfield Hillsborough to kick off our League Cup campaign. I'm going to call it.
Get on your nerves.
Are you not going to try and say it?
Who was it that was sponsoring it this year? I forgot. It's that stupid name. Carbarano Cup.
Carabo.
Thank you. What do they do? Do they sell washing machines like Rumble? Energy drink.
Energy drink. I think. Hang on. This is the guy that owns Reading, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, do they sponsor Reading?
They sponsor Reading, and if you Google his name and Chanceries, they have like a kinship. They have they're known as brothers, but they're not related to some weird Oriental thing. Yeah,
they're very close, aren't they?
Apparently, they're busy mates. Yeah.
Haven't we gone in with a different energy drink supplier this season that are one of the big club sponsors this season?
Oh,
yes.
There's a bit of talk about whether or not they might end up being our shirt sponsor, but we've not seen the shirt, so we wouldn't know.
The one that we sprayed all over ourselves at the last steering
group. We all got the great privilege of being able to try this new energy drink at the last steering group meeting, but unfortunately I think someone had dropped the box when they were bringing it into the room, and every single can exploded when someone opened it. Genuine truth, it was squirting all over the place.
Well, I'm sorry, but I did pitch my Lordy Juice to them, my Lordy Juice energy drink, but apparently it didn't taste very nice.
What was it called? Lord's Bum Cream? Squeaky Bum Cream?
Lordy Juice.
Milky Lord.
But no, I mean, it's been a bit of a this podcast, which I'm really quite disappointed about, because I wanted to get everybody up and running and ready for the season.
Well, it's been such a negative season, though. I mean, it's not negative. That's a really bad choice of word. It's been boring. There's been no to keep the fans engaged.
Shall we talk about the new shirts? Hey,
no,
I'll cheer us all
about. Not being negative. Not being negative.
Me out.
Can we just do like a show of hands? Does anyone who is in this conversation now actually care about the new shirt?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Only when it's on sale.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, I do.
Why, Fudge?
I have a plethora of reasons. As it stands right
now...
I'm
going to regret asking this, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're going to get me on one.
Anyway, that's fine. Thanks, Fudge. Let's move on.
I'm saying it. I've got a platform here. I'm having it. You asked. Now, behold my answer.
I thought everyone would say no, to be honest, so I feel like
I'll tell you for why. I think it's piss poor marketing. Because if how many times did we used to do it ourselves? We'd launch it at the back end of last season. That is a lot of birthdays for young kids. That's a lot of present ideas. That's a lot of people buying it over a longer period of time.
But now it's a Christmas present.
But this is it. It's a Christmas present. Great news, whatever. But birthday season is September. It's there before that as well. But now we've missed out on August.
Birthday
July,
season is September.
June.
I think birthdays are generally quite spread across the year. People do tend to have sex.
They are. So by not having it out by the beginning of May, we're missing out on 4 months worth of having this kit. Now, after the last game in May, who's going to go to the shop and buy a full-price kit for their young'un?
Hold on a minute. No, Fudge. Isn't it normally released on Owls in the Park weekend?
Yeah.
Or am I getting that completely wrong? So
I'm
it's
getting
not
there.
middle of July, isn't it?
Yeah, I've practiced this. I'm getting there. Now.
So it's not since March, though, is it?
I don't know why you've mentioned March. That's just nonsense.
May. So when
let him get it off his chest. Just let him get it off his chest.
Let me finish.
It's like pulling a band-aid off. Just get it done.
This is honest. Just allow it. So, now, the kits nowadays last for 1 season. That's it. That's what happens. That's the way it is nowadays. It used to be 3, it used to be 2. It's just 1 season now. So the longevity of a kit is now from the first week in August, more or less, to May, which is what? How many months? 7? I can't remember. I can't be able to do the maths. 8. It's 8 months. Now, that is 8 months of being able to sell a kit, sell a product. Now, as an expat myself, somebody who's outside Sheffield, I think it's great. I actually feel quite proud of when I'm on a train or I'm driving around or when I'm playing Sunday morning football, I turn up in my Wednesday shirt because I like going, this is my team. This is me. What about it? Say something. What? Dan Fudge, get in the bin. Do you know what I mean? So I have now you have a period of a year in which you could be selling kits, in which you could be making money for the club, and we don't. We try and create this furore and try and create this this thing where we can launch it and put it in the biggest amount of spectacle in itself, and people queue for bloody days. I look at the queue at Owls in the Park and think, tits to that.
Fudge, I bet you we have record sales this year.
Yeah. We have record sales every bloody year because it's £10 more dear every year. What do you think I am?
No, I'm talking numbers. I'm talking numbers of shirts. I bet you we have record sales on it. Regardless of when it comes out, every fucker will still buy it.
Of course, because it's our 150th year. It's a change from stripes. It's going to be. And then they're going to sit there and call it a success. I can guarantee you, if we'd have been selling that kit from May, we'd probably make the same amount of money, if not more, because it's 3-4 months, man. But it's 3-4 months of trying to make money. It's like they don't want to make money.
But there's only one audience, isn't there, right? There's only one audience that's going to buy that kit, and that's us 5 on here. That's every other Wednesday fan that's in the ground, and that's all the expat Wednesday fans that go. And they're not going to go, well, bloody hell, they haven't sold it since May, so I'm not going to go and buy it now. Bloody hell, it's September. It's not. We're still going to sell the same amount because people are still going to buy the bloody thing.
I think the issue with it for me now is it's not being handled very well. There's not been anything come out of the club to say what's happening. And maybe they don't want to do that, but I just think they need. It's Trevor hate me for saying stuff like this, but it's kind of they haven't kept themselves close to the clients. To the customers who are us, I don't think this close season. Very quiet about everything.
Even if they give us a date, even if they just admitted it's going to come on Owls at the Park, a lot of people would be appeased by that.
But it always does. It always comes on Owls.
No, it's come out the last 2-3 years, and then they might release it on an open top bus across fucking Sheffield Centre. You never know, but you're missing a point on what I'm saying, Rich. If your kids were born in the 20th of May. Yeah, it's a week after the season. Are you going to go to the shop and buy a full price kit for their birthday?
To be honest, they always have the kit for the birthday. It was July the 20th. On the least of my wedding anniversary. July the 20th. And they haven't had it for the birthday this year. So what you said there is correct. But they'll still get it.
Them anyway.
They'll still get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't say that too loud. There's someone that close.
To be honest, I was far more interested in new program design. I honestly, it bores the crap out of me, all this kit nonsense. It really, really does. We're going to have a new kit. It's going to come out. People will buy it or they won't.
But they will. They will buy it. That's the thing. They will.
They'll turn out on Saturday against Preston in the new kit.
So let's have a show of hands again. Who's going to buy the new kit? Vic?
If it's nice, yeah, I will. I didn't buy last season's, but I will, yeah.
Rich, are you going to buy 15 different kits? Yes. After all your moaning, will you buy a kit?
Yeah, and then it'll be out of date in 6 months.
That'll be fine, but you'll be proud for 6 months.
But will you buy another one after 6 months?
You're quite a fashionable guy, Fudge. Do you have many clothes in your wardrobe that last more than 6 months?
Yeah, I've got a load of old 90s Wednesday shirts with the sleeve rolled up nowadays.
You see, do you still wear them? Are you still
Yeah, of course I
proud?
do.
So that's something you chuff in morning. Get yourself down to Sunday League in one of them little darlings in proper stripes. Jay, are you going to buy the kit?
No, I don't really bother buying kits. It's just so it doesn't interest me. I'm just not. It's a kit. It'll be blue and white in some form or another. Yeah, I've got some old ones. I don't really wear a shirt to football games because I tend to go out afterwards. So it's just something that doesn't particularly affect me, and I don't understand why people get so het up about it. I get the fact that there's people making points about, firstly that it is stupidly lit, but let's remember that we're changing this year to doing it ourselves so that we maximise the amount of money from kit sales that go into the club. Now that has to be a good thing. The fact that there's been a delay with that and there's been some kind of hold up with that or whatever it is that's been going on, again, we'll know better after the steering group meeting. It's just a one-off, isn't it? Because it's the first year where you go from just having a supplier who say you've got to order by this date to trying to juggle all that yourself. Obviously, I'm guessing it's not gone as smoothly as was originally planned, but it's just one season, If people can't live with that for one season, then I don't know. Maybe
it's been the last two.
Maybe they need bigger things to worry about in the world.
It's been the last 2 seasons we've announced it the week before the season.
No, it hasn't. It was Owls in the Park, as it has been for the last 4 or 5 seasons.
And that was the week before the season.
No, it wasn't. It was July the 9th because I almost missed it because I had to work. Or was it the week? No, 16th, July the 16th.
It was not July the 9th, yeah.
Can we go back to talking about parachute payments? Because it was far more interesting.
The measure of success this year, right, if we're making our own kit, will be how many 5 triple XLs or whatever are available in the club shop. Because normally, all the mediums, all the large and all the XLs sell out within days. And then for the rest of the season, all you've got are bloody Wednesday tents, right? So hopefully this season, if we're manufacturing our own, we'll look at our people and we'll go, right, we sold about 25 XLs last year. So let's just make 30 of them. Because now, if you go in that club shop for £55, you can buy the 5XL Sheffield Wednesday home kit still from last season. This season, let's hope that we've got
full price.
Yeah, exactly. But let's hope that this season we've got it spot on. We've gone for the demographic and said, right, this is how many we've sold. This is how many we need to make in this size.
Well,
anyway, Chesterfield.
It takes those big chaps a bit of a longer time to get to the shop, Victoria. So stop being so bloody sizist.
Come on, the Caribou Cup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Chesterfield game. I think it'll give us a chance to give a run out to a few players that probably won't play the first 2 or 3 league games. So that's got to be good.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lovely, lovely time. Chesterfield's a lovely place full of lovely people, and they've got very bent spires. Right.
And it's at Hillsborough, so, yeah.
But it's still got a lovely place full of lovely people. They can come and visit us, can't they?
I don't think they're going to bring their spire with them.
You're not being bent spirist, AJ.
I'm not being bent spirist. Some of my best friends, I can't say that, can I?
No.
Right then, Victoria, my darling, I believe you and James have got a little bit of a surprise for us, haven't you?
Oh, it is a surprise as well. Well, my lord, me, Dickie, and James all went to Tramlines a couple of weeks ago in Sheffield. A wonderful, wonderful ex-free music festival, but there's still a lot of free stuff. We obviously went to the free stuff, and we were stood just above Devonshire Green. And we saw a very, very handsome blonde man. A very handsome blonde man.
Thank you, Vic.
Not you. Okay. And me and James are kind of whispering like little girls saying, shall we go and do it? Shall we go and do it? And Dickie turned into dad mode and leaned over us and was like, I know what you're saying. Do not go over to him. He's with his wife and children. Do not go over. So we had a bit of a panic and said, does anyone have a Wednesday week business card? And none of us 3 did. But my darling fiance did. So we went over and we went to Mr. Nicky Weaver and asked him if he'd be willing to have a chat. We said, we completely understand if you're out with your family and friends, if you don't want to come and have a chat. And he literally, James, didn't he? He frog marched us to the back to where it was a bit quieter. And he was so excited to have a chat with us and to talk about what he's doing at Wednesday. So this is that lovely interview. Thank you, Mr. Weaver.
So the Wednesday week at Tramlines, and somewhat unexpected, we bumped into a former Sheffield Wednesday player. It is Nicky Weaver. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Very good. So you enjoying Tramlines?
Yeah, obviously it's a great sort of event for Sheffield. I've been a couple of times now. Just obviously it's nice that the weather's good. So yeah, glad to come down and have a few hours down here.
You're still living local?
Yeah, I still live local. I actually still work at the club. I coach the under-23 and under-18 keepers down at Wednesday, so obviously still massively involved. So yeah, very much a Sheffield lad, and glad to still be involved with the club.
Right, what's your take then on the season ahead for Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last couple of years we've not been far away. Finished 6th and 4th, so. People talk about we've not made that many signings and what have you, but I don't think we need, it's not like we need a massive overhaul of the squad. The manager's now been in England a couple of years, so he knows the Championship and how difficult it is. So, hopefully we can go one better than last year.
A lot of rumours about Kieran Westwood and bids coming in left, right and centre. He's such an important part of the squad, isn't he?
Yeah, I think you're always going to get rumours when you've got top players, and Kieran's a top goalkeeper. He's been one of the best keepers in the Championship for the last 2 or 3 years while he's been at Wednesday, so it's no surprise that other clubs are going to be interested in your top players, but hopefully he'll still be at Wednesday. I'm sure he will, and I know he's looking forward to having another good season.
How many kind of young stars have we got coming through then in terms of goalkeepers?
Yeah, there's some good young lads there. Obviously we've got Cam Dawson and Joe Wildsmith who are doing really well. It's sort of like they're in their early 20s, so it's a big couple of years for them. But it's all about, for them, it's just about sort of learning the trade and becoming sort of more mature in the games, and hopefully over the coming weeks, months and years they can sort of get more game time and maybe establish themselves in the first team squad.
And obviously we've got Chesterfield in the whatever the League Cup is called now in I think it's second game of the season. I mean, that must be one that brings back memories for you.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, when I was there, I played them in the Football League Cup, and yeah, obviously scored the penalty. So yeah, it's fond memories, and people like yourself just often remind me of it. So yeah, whenever Sheffield Wednesday and Chesterfield sort of get mentioned in the same breath, it always brings back memories of that night. But yeah, it's a good one to have a sort of local derby, particularly early on in the season. So yeah, it should be a good occasion. Hopefully, one that will come out on top.
So we've got to ask, obviously you're involved with the youth team and everything, Mr. Hurst, what do you see happening with him this season? Do you think he's going to get in the first team squad? Is he going to get around there, or do you think it is an idea to send him out on loan, bulk him up a bit and get him ready?
I'm not really sure what the club have got planned. Obviously, he'll have his own thoughts on it. The club will have their plans in place for George. Obviously, what he's done sort of speaks for itself. He's scored goals at every level he's played at, whether that's been at Wednesday or when he's been away with England. So, he's certainly an exciting prospect, and we'll just have to sort of wait and see what happens with him. But, he's done great so far, and hopefully he can keep it going.
And so, yeah, great. And obviously,
what a lovely chap.
He's lovely, and I had to get in your question. I had to mention it, so you are welcome, my lord.
Can I just point out the fact that he'd clearly not had as much to drink as we had by the point that we did this. Just needs referencing.
Annoyingly, I don't know who his favourite member of Little Mix is either. So I've got that opportunity missed.
No, how very nice to hear from him. Was such a lovely, nice chap. Really, really good. Fantastic. So if you're out and about and you do see some ex-Wednesday players bobbing around where you are, just go and tap them on the shoulder and just say, "Excuse me, I'm from the Wednesday Week podcast," even if you're not, and just stick your phone in the face and see what happens. Works. Brilliant. Right, then, ladies and gents, so that's going to bring us to an end of this week's proceedings. Fudgy, my good old friend, if people want to find out more about your anger at these football kids, where can we do
that? Find me on Twitter at Dan Fudge. I've noticed a few of you are adding me on Facebook. You'll realise that's a lot of different kind of whinging on that. So if you just want to keep it football, stick on Twitter at Dan Fudge.
Is that more whinging about your? Is that more whinging about your personal life, about your boyfriend's? No, your girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. I'm going to get that.
Yeah, it's just me tagging him various means of big knobs. You know what I mean? That's you, that.
Dickie, old boy, if people want to get hold of you over there on the Twitter, where can we do that?
You can find me at Dickie L. I'll be spouting some shite and mainly holiday pictures over the next few days. So if you want to see some boring old pictures,
fancy and stuff.
Early for work in the morning, I'll be sleeping.
Have you tweeted a picture of your crabs, Richie?
My crabs, I have not posted a picture of yet. But if you would like a picture, just at me at Dickie L, and I'll send you a picture of my crabs.
I am certainly going to ask you for a picture of your crabs. Victoria, my darling, if people want to see your crabs, a different type of crabs, where can we do that?
Well, my lord, you can find me at Victoria1867 and Dan Fudge. You'll like this. Dan Fudge, are you there? Are you there? Dan Fudge. He's not there. He's not there.
Has he muted himself?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I'm here about 6 times, and then went, oh, it turns out I'm not. but yeah, I'm here.
You'll like this, Dan Fudge, right? On the 25th of August, I had the best email ever the other week. I got a message saying that I've finally got to the front of the queue after 3.5 years for tickets to be in the Jeremy Kyle audience.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I swear to God, bro, I am going to Manchester on the 25th of August and I will be in that audience. I'm not allowed to wear stripes or black or white or any large logos or fonts. But
so can you not wear a Wednesday week t-shirt?
I can't. I asked about that and they were like, no.
Just something that says, let's talk about Wolves away.
But I will be there. I will be in the Jeremy Kyle audience, so you can follow me to get probably not live updates because I might get told off, but I will update after that as well at Victoria1867.
Amazing.
You're not going to be on stage then, no?
I don't know. I might try.
You know what? It wouldn't even surprise me if you ended up on stage, Vic. In fact, I'd be surprised if you didn't, my darling. And Mr. Marriott O'Bean, if people want to find all your bits and bobs over there on the Twitter page, where can we do that?
Yeah, I have got a couple of things that I'm supposed to mention, but I just really can't be bothered, so I'll do them next week. So if you want to find me on Twitter, at James Marriott, and see you in Preston if you're going.
Don't hold anything back, Jay, because Fudge gets rather annoyed if you're keeping secrets from our customers.
Be right.
So please. Of course, if you'd like to get all the meat over there on the Twitter, you can do that at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. Get on the podcast at TWWcast as well, and all the usual places: the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the where are we not? We're everywhere, boys and girls. It has been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be good, be safe. Please, let's be a bit more positive, and we'll see you real soon.